And thanks for watching another episode of News of the Pews, where you can count on unapologetic 2A advocacy. Gun rights are human rights. Heads up, this first one is not going to enhance your calm. The Colorado Supreme Court ruled a 72-year-old woman can sue Circle K for firing her for self-defense during a robbery. Colorado is an at-will state, meaning either employer or employee can end their relationship without notice or reason, but there are a handful of reasons an employer cannot use, like your race, gender, or military service. One of those exemptions is exercising an important job-related right or privilege, and the court ruled that self-defense is an important right directly related to working at a convenience store. But here's the part that's gonna get you heated. This whole time, you've probably been thinking this nice lady got fired for using a gun to defend herself from an armed robber. No, she was fired for holding her hand out when the armed robber was charging at her. How do I even comment on the level of slimy that is? The woman worked for them for 18 years and they canned her for a simple human reaction. But with any luck, they might have just punched the tar baby. I hope Circle K throws away truckloads of money on lawyers. Ms. Marino wins anyway and gets lots of money, because Circle K deserves to lose hard here. And also because it could set up a precedent for folks who carry in violation of store policy and get fired if they ever have to use it. Think about it. Circle K may have just ended that entire unjust structure. But hey, it would be impossible for me to produce quality 2A propaganda without you. That's right, I don't have any sponsors, so I literally could not make this content without your support. So if you are in a comfortable place in life, please consider supporting this channel by purchasing one of these sick t-shirts for just $15. Or maybe one of these rad stickers, mugs, or magnets is more your speed. But whether you buy merch or donate directly at the links down there in the doobly-doo, and of course right here, your help is what keeps this thing going, and I am incredibly grateful for your generous support. But if you're not in a comfortable place, please don't feel pressured. You don't owe anyone else a thing. Just enjoy this 2A propaganda at the price of free $99 and continue to pray for us. So President Trump is promising national reciprocity again, and that's got some people excited, but there really isn't any realistic way that's going through this Senate, which makes it just a transparent attempt to pander for midterm votes. Not gonna lie, it's pretty disheartening to think how 3/5 of the states have no permit requirement at all, and we can't get 3/5 of senators to agree that states should honor permits from other states. Besides, isn't that what the full faith and credit clause of the supreme law of the land is for? Now, I'm not a lawyer because my species gives live birth, but it seems to me that if Trump really wanted to get something accomplished in regard to national reciprocity, he would tell the DOJ to sue every state that refuses to honor out-of-state carry permits. What do you folks think? Because these days it seems like almost every episode I'm telling you about the DOJ putting in work again. They've been real busy kicking ass back and forth across the country. They sued the LA County Sheriff Department for slow walking permit applications, Denver and Colorado for their magazine and assault weapon ban, DC for its assault weapon ban, and the Virgin Islands just for making shit up as they go. Now, Harmeet Dillon just threatened to sue Californistan if they allow their Glock ban to go into effect. And it's not an empty threat. Dillon cited the 2023 Boland versus Bonta case, which forced California to end the ridiculous micro-stamping requirement, which effectively closed the handgun roster, in which the court held unequivocally, Californians have the constitutional right to acquire and use state-of-the-art handguns to protect themselves. Now, if you or I were staring down the barrel of a suit like that, we would definitely fold. But Bonta has infinity tax dollars to throw against it in delaying tactics until he ultimately loses, which is exactly what that turd is going to do. A 3-judge panel on the Fifth Circuit just unanimously ruled in U.S. versus Camo that silencers are arms in the context of the Second Amendment. They upheld the defendant's conviction, though, and they ruled the government can restrict silencers even though they are arms in the context of the Second Amendment. This is still really big news though, because it conflicts with a recent Ninth Circuit ruling that silencers are not arms and therefore not protected.
I'm gonna find a dude what makes special shoes and pay him not to make special shoes. Yeah!
And you know what that means, right? That's right, kids, circuit court split. When the circuit courts disagree, it just about forces the Supremes to take up a case. If a case comes up to the Supremes through appeal, they kind of pick and choose which cases they think will have the broadest impact. But when two circuits disagree, there won't be any resolution until the Supremes step in. And when it gets to the Supremes, it gets real interesting on a few counts. For one thing, I'm not 100% certain the DOJ would even continue to defend the case given their recent moves. But even if they do, that's a super difficult argument to make. After all, if silencers are not arms, then why are you so terrified of the poors getting hold of them? And this will also be the first time the NFA has faced any serious threat since Staples versus US in '94, when the court held the government has to prove the defendant has understood the features that made his firearm an NFA device. If I had a nickel for every time the only ones professional enough negligently pointed guns at the wrong people lately, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice recently. You folks probably saw that dash cam video where 2 cops were horsing around pointing guns at each other and one of them plugs the other one, right? And by the way, the cop on the left who thought that whole thing was real funny is not getting dragged nearly hard enough in the comments. But now, a tiny little miniature cop in New York who was previously in trouble for harassment is being charged for pointing his gun at a deaf employee of the department. Brothers and sisters, verily I tell you, this timeline is insane. I can't believe this person was a cop in the first place. Police should meet physical standards and mental standards. But ladies and gents, these are the only folks the control freaks think are professional enough to handle firearms. Well, friends, rounds complete on 2, but before I get to your moment of completion, I would like to thank Squirted Glizzies for making this show possible. So far, Squirted Glizzies is the only Patreon member who wishes to be identified in this segment of the show, but if you would like me to say whatever goofy name you want, within reason, and if you're a member of my steak dinner or prime rib Patreon member tiers, message me through Patreon and I'll say your name too. And now, for your moment of completion. I love you.